Have a look at the prizes. There's one Diplin, one Festival Grounds. Nothing horrific yet. Oh, and check all those lovely full art supporters from Oscar there.
And we're looking quite good. Oscar pricing, they're only Lycia's appeal. Not going to be very appealing to play in this matchup, but we're soon to get underway for the first game of our top 4.
And here we go, top 4, game 1. We are rolling, and in a shocking twist, no one could have predicted, Oscar starts with a Dwebble, which is, of course, the only basic Pokemon he plays. 4 of them, nothing else. Ethan starts with an Applin, only got 40 HP, but Crustle is, it's not a deck that puts on a lot of early game pressure. But first, before we get to that, tell us about Festival Lead.
Yes, Festival Lead is an awesome deck that combines a lot of usage between these grass Pokemon, especially Fwacky with that boom, boom groove, saying that if you have a Pokemon in the active with the ability Festival Lead, you get to search your deck for any card. That's typically pretty good. But on top of that, you would have the Diplin, which with its ability, Festival Lead, able to attack twice in a turn, not just once, if Festival Grounds is in play. So combining those two things means they have good search and also double attacks.
Very nice indeed. You do 20 damage for each of your bench Pokemon. You're hoping to hit 100 twice. Oscar here is playing Crustle, and this is a deck which is built to take advantage of an EX-heavy format. It's got the ability Mysterious Rock in, which prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. And then for free energy, it does 120, and that goes through any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. That is it. That is the only real attack. The problem is, Ethan's not using EX Pokemon.
I was about to say that, Ross, exactly, and that means that Oscar is going to have such a mountain to climb if Ethan gets to set up. While Ethan could potentially grab 2 knockouts in one turn, attacking twice, Oscar has to settle for 1 attack. And building up these Crustles continuously is not an easy feat to do. Yes, there is 2 reversal energies in deck, but other than those, you need to be building up to take 1 prize every single turn. Essentially, if knockouts are going back and forth every single turn, you need to build up 6 Crustles over the entire game.
And they need to have free energy on each in order to attack. Reversal energy will only work twice. Very well put. We are currently using Arvum, and we are going to grab ourselves a couple of energy with that. With a rather lovely Earthen Vessel. And here we go. Now, we're going to be using Ascension here, which lets you evolve straight up into Crustle. But we've popped a Luxurious Cape on there. Good news is it gets an extra 100 HP. Bad news is if it's knocked out by damage from an attack, then your opponent takes an extra prize card.
Essentially making that a 2 prize, which is what Even has been festivaling on in this tournament. Going to play that Lily now. No Grookey's turn 1 though. Not good news, even though getting 8 cards to get this setup going. Already have an Applin on the bench, a Diplin in the active, able to deal massive amounts of damage. Not quite getting knockout this turn, but if you're getting 2 prizes every second turn, I think that's all right.
Part of the bad news here for Oscar is he's not attacking next turn. He doesn't have a double energy he can use. So Ethan here is going to basically get a free hit in. Is going to need the stadium if you want to attack twice. Is going to need some more basics. We do see Grookey hitting the board here, which is lovely. We see the Applin on the bench evolved up into a Diplin. That's what we're talking about. But we are going to need that Festival Ground Stadium because that Festival Lead ability only says you can attack twice if the stadium is in play. Pokepad is going to grab a second Grookey. It's a bit of a party going on here.
Indeed there is, and when you're looking at this, and right now Festival do the wave with that Diplin does 60, but if you next turn can go ahead and get 2 more bench Pokemon and that Festival Grounds, you will still get the knockout on Crustle, unless there's a healing card being played. But Jumbo Ice Cream needs there to be free energies attached to Crustle to be able to use it, which doesn't work. So you have to use the Poke Vital A, which is the ace pick of choice on Oscar's side.
And this is about the only deck you will ever find playing Poke Vital A. It heals 150 damage, but it cannot be recovered from the discard pile. Drew it in his opening hand, has had it since the beginning. Now, Reversal Energy is coming down, but it does not activate properly unless you are behind on prizes, hence why it goes on the bench. We're playing Lily's Determination here, getting a new hand of 8, but I mean, are you just giving up the active Crustle here?
Yeah, you are. It's really heads up here from Oscar saying that, all right, it's really, really likely that Ethan gets a knockout on the active Crustle. Better make the next one ready, right? And if you're just attaching to the active Crustle, the likelihood of that work going to waste is really high. So with these next 2 Crustles, if you're able to take out the only 2 attackers, hopefully for Oscar's perspective, that will be all right. But other than that, it's going to be really, really, I wouldn't say dangerous, but it's getting really tough.
It is going to be tough. We see an INO coming down here from Ethan. Both players are going to put their hands at the bottom of their deck and draw 6 new cards because they've got 6 prizes remaining each. And remember, Ethan will take 2 prizes off of here because of that rather luxurious cape draped upon that Crustle right now. So that is going to put Oscar on the back foot. The good news is it will activate reversal energy.
And there is Festival Grounds in hand, but I'm still missing to see the last basic Pokemon being able to put into play. And if we only see 2 times 80, that's 160 plus 60,
220.
that's 200, and yeah, that's 220. And it means that we're not going to be able to get that knockout onto the Crustle. So from Ethan's side of perspective here, not getting knockout, but that doesn't mean anything is over yet. Still massive amounts of pressure on Oscar's side.
What this does do is it gives Oscar 1 more turn of energy attachment to start building up multiple Crustle on the bench, which could be absolutely huge. We do see a second luxurious cape coming down, so Oscar very happy to turn these into 2 prize Crustle. We see a spiky energy coming down. Now, the thing about spiky energy is if you attack into a Pokemon with spiky energy, you take 2 damage counters. But if you attack twice with Dipplin, you take 4 damage counters because it's 2 damage counters per attack.
And if so, when you're looking at Luxurious Cape, if this Dipplin has to 1 turn attack twice, that's 40. Then next turn has to attack again. There'll be 60 put on by the spiky energy. So potentially if a Crustle is being knocked out and you throw up the next Crustle also with a spiky energy attached, you can get a passive knockout onto a Crustle with that.
And that could be absolutely huge. So, we are building up these Crustle on the bench for Oscar. Don't expect any other Pokemon. There are no other Pokemon in the deck. Now, we are using Boss's orders here to bring up that bench Crustle. This is absolutely huge because this is the only one that can be attacking right now with that reversal energy, assuming Ethan takes surprise. There we see a bench Pokemon coming down with the Shaman. This is only going to be 200 damage, though. We would need some damage modification. So it seems like we're doing 200 damage, taking 40 back, but you're not behind on prizes if you're Oscar, so reversal energy is yet to be active.
It doesn't look super great on Ethan's side, not having any Thwacking Blade to use the boom, boom groove. Here, taking the 40 damage from the spike energy because of the dual attacking. But when looking at it, Ross, yeah? Looking at a position where Oscar can attach 1 more energy, uses Chorus Tenacity, gets an energy, can get a Stadium as well. That's great. Getting a knockout here. Ethan is playing off the top of the deck. No Thwacking play, no draw supporters at hand. I really did like the boss from Ethan here, trying to force Oscar into an attachment. When you're looking at a worse board state than ideal, you want to be forcing as many cards out of your opponent as possible.
That is going to hurt Oscar throughout this game, having to have free energy on each of them. I'm also looking at count here of stadiums, even obviously playing 4 Festival Grounds. There's only 3 stadiums in Oscar's deck. So that means Ethan doesn't need to wait for Oscar to play one and replace it. He can just play and he will always win the stadium war by having an extra stadium. That is pretty important. We finally see enough energy on the active Crustle here to actually mount an attack. So that means that the 40 damage taken from spiky energy becomes irrelevant. Oh, he's eating some ice cream, Jesper. Jumbo ice cream comes down, and that is going to heal 80 damage.
Not just 80 damage. Num, 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 times 2, 160 damage off of that Crustle.
Ooh.
Getting it up to 210 HP. Important here, Ross, means that when the Dipplin attacks twice with a full bench, it's still going to be left with 10 HP. Gonna be able to survive that and keep on attacking with the superb scissors.
Those ice cream must have been some tasty, but you're absolutely right. The numbers here are working out perfectly for Oscar. Your 200 is what Dipplin is generally hitting. We need to do something else. So we do see that Vitality Band being fanned to the front there by Ethan. That is coming down, and this is perfect. Now you're not doing 200, you're doing 220, and that will work rather nicely indeed.
It would do 220 if you still have an extra bench Pokemon to put down. Ethan is still missing that bench Pokemon extra. And unless something has been drawn off the top of deck from Ethan's side, that is not going to happen. I do see a Psyduck there, but if you're benching a Psyduck, it means you have no additional Applins to play down.
Oh.
Meaning that when And that's why we go for the Air Balloon Retreat, trying to save this Dipplin here. Oscar can be really punishing with the boss's orders, which is top deck.
I was going to say, he's got that at the front of his hand here, and the problem is, and this is something we're watching, here comes the boss's orders onto the Dipplin. This is how Oscar wins this game. You hunt down those apples, you take away all of Even's attackers, and you get extra time to attack. Luxurious Cape to take you out of range of attacks, get enough time to get all your energy on, start swinging for 120, and if you can hunt those apples well enough, we're going bobbing for apples at the festival, and it's working.
And I don't see any apples here. Speaking of that, Ross needs potentially to go for a boss's orders stall play here, moving up that other crossel that does not have enough energy to attack. Town Store can fin out a card, but Even does not have any options whatsoever. It's just gonna Town Store and pass.
This is not what you're looking for if you are Ethan. Does actually seem to grab that maximum belt, but that's not really going to do anything, because that only does extra damage to EXs, and there ain't no EXs in Oscar's deck. So we are playing that Colrus here. That is going to go and get you a Stadium and an Energy. We're getting a Jet Energy, which is going to get that Crossel back into the active, ready to attack and rolling. And a Gravity Mountain, which you imagine you won't play here. You wait until Festival Grounds come down and then use it as a counter Stadium.
Exactly, trying to play this sort of Stadium War here, but no more Stadium War. Jet Energy up that Crossel, being able to take the knockout on Goldeen. And I'm looking at Ethan's side. Something has to happen this turn.
He needs to get a bunch of apples. What's he drawn into?
I think that looked like a...
Now, the good news is, no, he's giving it up. He's picking up his cards. He's conceding the game. Oscar Rivas wins game one with Crossel. He took out the only apple, and that was all it took to get himself one game up. He is one game away from a position in the final here. We're in top four here, Jesper. You win this match, you go to the final.
And when Oscar is hunting down these applets, when you take all of Even's apples, there's no lunch left to take all their prize cards. Going into a replay of this game one.
Here we go in where Oscar, this is a fairly simple game plan. You get your Crossel out, but it's using Luxurious Cape at the right time. It's watching your energy attachments. It's making sure that you are being able to play those Jumbo Ice Cream at the right time to heal down to exactly the right amount of damage so that your opponent cannot get you. Boss's orders on the only Dipplin. Now, Ethan had a very bad start and did not set up, but oh my word, did Oscar take advantage. He just needs to win one game out of two here in order to win. And the thing is, when there's no Dipplin, even a Fwacky for Ethan will not save him. And I'm going to have to say, I have to say it at least once. How do you like them apples?
I like him. I like him a lot, especially if Ethan can get into more apples this game. Although last time we saw Ethan on stream, lost game one very, very quickly as well. Going to see some prize cards here. Nothing too much of action in the prize cards of Ethan. Maybe that Seeking could be a bit annoying in these prize cards. Otherwise, they're pretty simple.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And here's the thing. Ethan does have a pretty good matchup here as we see the prizes come down. Oh, there's only 3 Luxurious Cape in the deck. Oscar was using them pretty heavily last game. Only has 1 available. We're off in game 2 of top 4 here in Seville. Ethan is going first. Applin in the active. And we know the Crossel does not put on early game pressure. So Ethan, what can you do to get rolling here in this game nice and early?
We get rolling by getting Grookey, which was what Ethan was missing last game.
Hey, he had plenty of Grookey.
Was missing for that turn 1 though. But yes, getting double Grookey out here, being able to set up that boom boom groove as soon as possible. Pokepad in hand, Festival Grounds in hand. Got to play that down next turn, otherwise you get countered, and just going to go ahead and pass. That Pokepad is going to give the allowance to get either Flaky or like Attachment of Spike Energy, Attachment of Luxurious Cape on Oscar's side. The only Luxurious Cape, and Oscar's going to get some bad news here in a second.
He's going to find out that is his only Luxurious Cape for the game. One of his 2 Reversal Energy also prized. If Ethan has a fast start, that is a card you are going to want to try and mount a comeback. Prize is not doing Oscar any favors here in this game. For Ethan, he's actually prized the pointless Psyduck in this matchup, so that's wonderful. And I kind of like this a lot better from Ethan. Now, you go for a Pokegear, but you've got to get another basic down. Surely you could lose the game next turn.
Not really, Ross. You have to remember that the Ascension attack on that Dwebble is going to put that up to a Crossel. So unless Ethan has the whole shebang of full bench, Festival Grounds, Applin, and Kieran, Oscar's Crossel is going to stay on the field.
I don't know. It's not a risk I'd want to take, but it's an irrelevant point anyway. A second Dwebble has come down. I wouldn't feel comfortable leaving that only Crossel there. We've seen this deck can get explosive, especially when Thwacky starts coming out. We've just top decked the second Poker Pad here for Ethan, which means he is going to be able to have a pretty good turn here. Absolute bare minimum, you can double Poker Pad for a Diplin and a Thwacky and search any card you want.
You get one Pokepack and get a Thwacky or the Applin here.
But he's got two.
Yeah, so we get the other one now.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. Boom, boom, groove. We didn't see it in game one. We are seeing it here in game two. Has he used it yet, or was he just shuffling the deck after the search?
He's shuffling for a Pokepad now.
Okay.
Going to play down the festival grounds. And Boom Boom Groove. There was a consideration of playing Iona first. Got a Boom Boom Groove for Lily's determination to be able to draw 8 cards instead. And didn't go Boom Boom Groove for another Thwacky, wanting to hit that off this Lily determination.
I really like this from Ethan here. He does not need very much at all. He can mount a decent attack here. And the thing is, yeah, you're going to get KO'd by the spiky energy, but you're going to give up 1 prize. You're going to take 2 over the next 2 turns. That is a trade I am absolutely willing to make if I'm Ethan here. What we need to do is just keep setting up our board. We want more apples, more monkeys. We want to keep rolling here. And where are we? We've got a picnic basket. Oh, we've got Diplin. We've got another Thwacky. This is looking wonderful. We've even got, I mean, you can buddy puff in here and fill up your bench quite nicely if you want to. But why don't you bug catching set first?
Yeah, it's always great to use bug catching set first. Trying to take it off the top of the deck where Buddy Puffin is what we call a guaranteed search card. So you're leaving more targets in the deck with bug catching set by then using Buddy Puffin afterwards or Pokepad.
Oh, we got a third Grookey coming down. Next turn, that is going to lead to a third Thwacky. It's already in hand, and this is so different for Ethan than we saw in game one. This means he is going to be able to search out 3 cards of his choosing every turn. The term we generally use in the Pokemon TCG is bricking. It is if your deck has turned into a brick, it is giving you nothing. That is not what Ethan's deck is doing this game. He's going to be able to be boom, boom, grooving 3 times every turn and just getting every single thing he needs. There's the full bench, so he can hit 200 damage. And here we go. Yes, I know if you do this next turn, you're going to get KO'd by the spiky energy. I don't care. I'm taking out the Crossel. I'm taking out the energy. I'm getting 2 prizes. It is a risk I'm willing to take, especially because Oscar can only attack now with a reversal energy next turn, and one of his 2 is prized.
Unless Oscar is getting any help off this Pokegear, it's going to look tough. Double Boss's orders. Those don't draw any cards, and we have to look at the prize cards again. Double Lily's determination of prize cards does not make this any easier of a feat. Potentially, if there's no other Crossel coming down, and I have to think that either Pokevitale is played. That's not even going to help here. If there is not a second Crossel coming down, the game could end on the next turn.
It absolutely could. And this is best case scenario for Ethan, worst case scenario for Oscar. We saw the reverse in game one. In game one, Ethan couldn't get rolling. Oscar had time to set up, and you saw how hard those crustaceans were to take down. In game two, we are seeing Ethan get rolling very nicely, and it just feels like an uphill battle. Now, we do have that Pokevitale. Now, it is being played. Problem is, you're there on 200 damage. That's how much you do. So
yeah,
you've just used your ace spec, and I don't think you've gotten any real... Oh, no, we had to do that, or else you KO the Crossel, put Dwebble active and KO. I suppose it's at least saved your Dwebble, but it doesn't feel good.
No, because next turn from Oscar would likely be put up the Dwebble, hopefully evolve it, but then what?
We have to hit reversal energy. You have to.
There's reversal in hand, but then you still need to hit the Crossel.
Yes.
Although on everything's just going on Ethan's side here. Triple Diplin in play, triple Thwacky. You can get to essentially quick search, although it's Boom Boom Groove for 3 cards of his own choosing.
And quick search is hard limited to once per turn, even if you've got multiple Pidgeot. Boom Boom Groove is once per turn per Thwacky, so you can get 3 cards a turn. In this deck, this is so much better than quick search is in any other deck. And the thing is, in the last game, what Oscar did beautifully was take out the only Applin/Diplin. He took all of the attacking options away. When this Diplin goes down, even if Oscar gets to KO a Diplin next turn, Ethan will still have one going into his follow-up turn.
Yeah, you can even be attaching the air balloon here, preventing that knockout with the spiky energy.
Love it.
Beautiful play here from Ethan, avoiding
and
that.
you say
Oscar.
that's it. Oscar's picking up his cards. Ethan is going to win game 2. We are 1 game apiece here in top 4 in Seville, and we are going to a game 3. Oscar saw the writing on the wall. And here's the thing now, Jesper. We've seen how Oscar wins. We've seen how Ethan wins. Now we get to a game 3 to see who can do it again.
And it's more so a question of, does Ethan get to get this set up with triple Thwackey, triple Diplin? I don't see much Oscar can do if so that happens, although it was difficult for Oscar with no draw supporters, right? So if we can get to see a balanced game, speaking of no draw supporters, double Lilies in the prize cards.
And double Luxurious Cape did not help, but you see Ethan's start here was phenomenal. You get the double Grookey, and then by turn 2, you've got everything you need. You've got double Thwackey, you've got a couple of spare Applin, you're doing a whole bunch of damage. At which point, Oscar has to go into full defensive mode. You have to end up, just trying to set up everything, and it's so difficult. And it just goes for Oscar, I'm not going to win this. I used Pokevital A, so you only KO'd my Crossover for 2 prizes and didn't also KO my Dwebble. Well, what really is that going to do in the long run? Unfortunately, too far behind, 1 game apiece. And I'm going to make a prediction here. I think with 55 minutes left, we've got enough time for game 3.
Oh, you're sure about that?
In its entirety, I feel confident.
Okay, I will join along that bet with you, Ross. Yes, we are going to be seeing, at the very least, a conclusion. Since we're on Top Cut, there will be a conclusion regardless, but it's going to be within these 55 minutes, even putting out some decent prize cards. Not too bad. Double energy in the prize cards, although still would have 3 left. And usually you're thinking you're playing 5 grass energy. That's not too good whenever we're looking at prize cards, but speaking of, you can still just boom groove for the grass energies.
And there's 2 bug kit catching set, even with the 1 prize. I don't love those 2 spiky energy being prized. There's only 3 in the deck, so that's going to make things more difficult for Oscar. Ethan goes first. It's just an Applin and a Grookey, and he passes over to Oscar, who does get an energy onto the Dwebble and plays an Arven. So he can start getting set up here. It's going to be for that Luxurious Cape, shockingly. And then also going to look, it seems like, we're going to get a Buddy Poffin for 2 more Dwebble.
Exactly, 2 more Dwebble. Ascension into Crossel at the end of this turn. Luxurious Cape on top of it. Even does need to find some setup pieces. I do see Thwackey, I do see Lily. So it's going to be able to play this game.
This is what we're looking for. There's your Thwackey. You don't have a Diplin yet, but you do have 8 cards off of Lily's Determination to try and find it. If you find a Diplin here, then you're kind of sorted, because that means that Thwackey is going to be able to search whatever you want. But when I say Diplin, I mean Diplin or Pokepad or Bug Catching Set. I do like your odds of being able to find it here.
I do too. Typically, we're saying if you're drawing 8 with Lily, you're supposed to be hitting these cards. Although, Ross, we've seen it time and time again, players using Lily for 8, being confident they're going to hit it, and then they don't. But we get to see what Ethan has off the cards here.
He's got it.
A lot of Pokemon.
And one of them is a Diplin, which activates Thwackey's Boom Boom Groove. We have a bunch more basics. I think 2 Applin and a Grookey coming down here. So all you actually need is probably 1 more Grookey, and you've got your perfect setup Pokemon-wise. Could get it with this Boom Boom Groove, but you're probably going to want to get an energy, because, of course, 2 of them are prized, and you don't have 1 in hand. Grookey can wait.
Grookey can wait, yes. And you're getting that energy. Gonna attach that to the Diplin, be able to deal 160. Right, that sets it up for a 2-hit KO unless Oscar goes Pokevital A. But then we may be speaking of a Pokevital A that sort of seems wasted when we're thinking in the grand scheme of things, right? So Evan's on route to a fantastic setup. Even has more Thwackeys to boot for next turn.
I love this, and this is where it starts going really well. When you start getting rolling, wait, why is it? Oh, there's no festival grounds in place. It was only for 80, but that still sets up a KO next turn, so I would not worry too much about it. We are using Town Store to go and search out a tool here for Oscar. Wow, Luxurious Cape. Who could possibly have seen that coming? And incidentally, this is why he plays Town Store. It's such an important card, this Luxurious Cape. Crossel is good at blocking EXs, but when you add the extra 100 HP, it can stop those few single prize Pokemon that you use to counter. They can be shut down by Luxurious Cape.
Yeah, in the case of Ethan here, no healing cards are going to be able to play unless it's Poké We don't see that off the grip with Lily's determination. Just going to pass it over. So even undoubtedly will be getting it. So Boom Boom Groove can get you Festival Grounds. Pokeball can get you the Pokemon. And then the second Boom Boom Groove can get you whatever you would like.
He's even got, he's even got a third Thwacky in hand. So if he goes Pokepad here and goes and gets, yeah, I think second Dipplin is right. But if you end up with another Grookey, then next turn you're on to treble Thwacky again and you are rolling. Although you might get a Lily's Determination before that and just shuffle your hand in, because that's 8 more cards and you've still got a Boom Boom Groove afterwards.
Yeah, we are indeed grooving here, mate. Going on with the Lily, 8 groovy cards getting in here, being able to use Boom Boom Groove thereafter. So if we're just hitting either Festival Grounds or a basic Pokemon, I'm not even asking for a Grookey here. Grookey would be nice, that is. But if we're getting any basic Pokemon, we would get the knockout with just searching out that Festival Grounds.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, frankly. That sounds like it's going to help quite a bit. Here we go with the 8 cards from Lily's Determination. Festival Grounds, the only thing you really need. You've hit it off of the Lily's Determination. Even if you didn't, you use Boom Boom Groove to search it, but it's nice that you don't have to. Buddy Poffin is going to get that last Grookey, which we know you needed. And from now on, we're back in that situation like we were in Game 2, where you're not going to whiff anything. You've got 2 energy prize, but you're going to get an energy every turn. Festival Grounds, you're going to have it every turn. You are not going to whiff from here on in for the rest of the game.
And what this spells really big danger from Oscar. We haven't talked about how Ethan is going to be able to one-hit KO a Crustle yet. If Ethan plays down a Kieran, deals 130 times 2, that will get the knockout. So speaking of that, it's going to be even that much more difficult to prevent all of this from Oscar's side of things, right? Although I do need to remember, Kieran does only work on EXs, but still getting knockout here, still being able to hit KO these Crustles essentially.
It doesn't only work on EXs. It also works on Pokemon V. Come on, I had to correct you on that one. Now, here is a reversal energy for Oscar, and this one's important because this is his only way to attack. Now that he's behind on prizes, he can use this and go ahead and actually launch an attack. Okay, yes, he has. Yes, he's got a third energy on this, so he can finally attack here. Have we even seen an attack from Crustle yet? Yes, we have. In Game 1, he got a couple. So we can actually get a KO on this Dipplin. The problem is there's a follow-up Dipplin and then a tertiary Dipplin kind of ready to go. And Ethan is going to be able to use those Boom Boom Groove to rebuild his board. Here we are going to see a counter stadium, but Ethan can use Thwacky to get a new one next turn. I wouldn't be too worried. And we finally see that attack for the first time since Game 1. Superb Scissors gets a KO on Applin. How can Ethan respond?
Yeah, we're reaching a state of the game where they're trading essentially 1 for 1. Ethan every second turn is supposed to get 2 prize cards, where Oscar's getting 1 every single turn on any Dipplin, which means in turn that Ethan has to be able to play cards like Lana's Aid to get back these Pokemon. So it's actually going to be a bit of a game of resources, unlike we've seen in Game 1 and Game 2, where we kind of had some non-games here. Here we get to see the full matchup play out.
And it is going to be interesting to see if we can keep those Dipplin rolling. That we are playing a full 4... Oh, no, it's a full free list of Dipplin. So we are going to need to see some recovery coming down when these start getting knocked out. Because Ethan's not one-hit KOing. We see an Ino coming down. That's going to give Oscar a new hand of 5 and Ethan a new hand of 4. But we're not going to be seeing big one-hit KOs. Because... now, the good news is we've got Brave Bang. Wait, no, that only works on the X's. We got Kieran. That only works on the X's. We got Max Belt. Wait, that only works on the X's. We do have Vitality Band, but that still maxes out at 220. So we're not getting a one-hit KO on a luxurious Caped Crustle.
No, we're not. And that's where I can turn from Oscar. If Oscar is able to set up this second Crustle, that might be where Ethan gets in a bit of a resource issue in turn of that. When we're speaking about Ethan and the resources, though, we also do have to point out that Oscar also has only a limited amount of Crustles.
Yes, absolutely he does. Thing is, they're both luxurious capes. So for Ethan, it's quite simple. The prize map is take out these 2 Crustle on the board. They go down, you take 4 prizes, you'll win the game. The good news is Ethan isn't going to run out of resources in terms of he can search whatever he wants. He's just got to make sure he's searching and sequencing properly to keep the army of apples approaching. Here we're going to see a hit, 200 damage, as you would expect. But with 2 spiky energy prized, Ethan's not getting punished for the attack.
No, he is not. Oscar is also going to be able to tie up the game after this next coming attack. Morty's Conviction, first time we've seen that this weekend. Discard a card from your hand and draw 1 for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And with a full bench of 5, yeah, 5 fresh cards.
Yeah, you're going to be drawing 5 every turn. We do see the Jumbo Ice Cream coming down, but you're not out of the danger zone yet. Could we combine that with a Pokevital A? Because I don't think another Jumbo Ice wouldn't do it. It doesn't, so Ethan is still going to be able to get the KO here. But again, it means you have to use both attacks to take out Crustle. You don't get to KO it and then get a free hit on the new one. That is why this healing is happening from Oscar.
And the play that Ethan wants to be going into is this Seeking here with the Rapid Draw. Also has the Festival Lead ability. Also is able to attack twice. And with Vitality Band, if that gets attached to it, which we see here off the Boom Boom Groove, we can get the knockout with 2 times Rapid Draw, essentially drawing 2 cards each time. That means drawing more cards, getting all these resources into hand, thinning out Ethan's deck, meaning Ethan can sit with that much more resources and that many more options.
And it also means that the better attacker, the Diplin, is being saved. So whereas we were talking about having to recover these Diplin and making sure you've got enough, well, every time you can put something like a Seeking active and use that for a turn, that's 1 less turn where you have to muck about recovering your Pokemon. So in that way, it works very nicely indeed. We do see that Lana coming down, that little Blade Supporter Lana's Aid, lets you get free in any combination of Pokemon that don't have a rule box and basic energy from your discard pile into your hand. And that's the difference here, because you don't have to then search it out. There's a Vitality Band, there's the energy, double attack, and even draws 4 cards, because apparently searching out any free cards he likes isn't enough.
It is not. And the most important thing, especially about this, is that, yes, we're saving these Diplins. These Diplins are the keys to the matchup. And now Ethan only has to chew through 1 more Crustle.
But Crustle's only taken 2 prize cards. It's going to go up to 3. That's going to leave 3 remaining. If we carry on this back and forth, Ethan is going to win the prize race. But there is still some healing to be done. If Ethan gets a big attack and we see, say, a Pokevital A and a Jumbo Ice Cream, that could make a big difference. Having said that, to even attack this turn, we need that last reversal energy. Without reversal energy, there's no attack coming.
You're right about that, Ross. Although, Ethan just has to pile on some pressure. If there's no attack this turn, Oscar's going to be down in that prize trade. Morty for 5. Do we see it?
Oh, I didn't catch a good enough look at the cards he drew. They asked for, I'm sorry, we got Boss's Orders, Lily's Determination. A spiky energy, but not a reversal energy. There will be no superb scissors this time. Regular scissors only, and they do not do enough damage. Back to Ethan here, absolutely in the driver's seat. Should be 2 turns away from booking a place in the final. Oscar is going to need some healing next turn. I mean, here you could hit with Seeking, or you could retreat into your Diplin, do a bit more. Oh, but here comes the Iono. And yeah, sure, Ethan's putting himself down to a 2-card hand. But when you got 3 Boom Boom Groove ready, it feels a bit better.
You get free of everything you like. So whenever Ethan is thinking next turn, I would like this card, I would like the other card, I would like the 3rd card, you can just get them all free.
Is going for that Kieran there. Kieran does also work as a switch. It's not just for the extra damage. So might be using that to switch out next turn, not this turn. He's already played a supporter. Also using another Boom Boom Groove for an air balloon. So clearly trying to make sure nothing will be stalled into the active by Crustle.
And that's important to remember, that these YK have 2 retreat costs, which means that makes them vulnerable to exactly being stuck in the active position. We most likely see this more in other matchups, although Crustle does have a bit of a control-y element to it, so it can potentially go for that route. Although here we do see Diplin do the wave, 200 damage.
And that means that Oscar has got to get some healing down. We know Ethan is going to have Boss's Orders if he wants it next turn. There is no question. Boom Boom Groove will see to that. So you need an energy. Oh, now you get the reversal energy a turn later than you wanted it. But you've got to heal. If you don't heal and you retreat, you're going to lose next turn. If you don't retreat and you don't heal, you're going to lose next turn.
We need to see both Pokevital A and Jumbo Ice Cream off this Lily. If it's only Pokevital A, one more bench Pokemon, double do the wave would do the job. So Oscar needs to be hitting both of these pieces. One of them is not good enough. Don't see that. One Ice Cream only.
And there is the fist bump. Ethan Wilde wins this match 2-1, advancing to the final of the Seville Special Championships, the first regional level event since he won in Birmingham, and he is one match away from going back to back.
Trainers, the 2026 Pokémon World Championships are taking place from August 28 to 30, and you can earn special Pokémon TCG Live rewards through Twitch drops. Watch live on twitch.tv/Pokémon TCG to earn rewards from Mega Evolution Pitch Black, like 6 booster packs and a mixed rarity Zero Aura playset, including 2 special illustration rare versions. And it does not stop there. You can also earn the exclusive 2026 Worlds Crate. That includes Worlds cosmetic items and so much more. Minimum watch time required to earn rewards. Requirements may vary. Terms apply. Visit rewards.pokemon.com for more information.